Hi, I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. Today I'm going to be taking a look at dun 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 the Carby. What this is a plug and play HDMI adapter for the Nintendo Gamecube. So the Gamecube, most people just played with basic composite RCA cables, which the quality back in the day with a normal big fat TV was perfectly fine. That was the norm. There was also component cables released which increased the quality, but the price was insane because almost nobody bought them, and yeah, trying to buy them now costs a bloody fortune. You can get cheaper ones, but they're really not as good at all. So you want to hook these up to your modern TVs. Doing it is not the best. My current setup is the RCA cables into an RCA to HDMI adapter, and then the HDMI adapter goes into my TV or usually into my game capture device. And while it's perfectly playable on a modern TV, it doesn't look that good. So HDMI solutions. You can of course get HDMI modded Gamecube, which quite frankly costs a bloody fortune to get the internals all done. You can buy the kit yourself, a little bit cheaper, but you have to open up your console and do some soldering and some cutting into the case to make a HDMI port, and nobody's got time for that. And then a company called Eon came out with a plug and play adapter, and that seems to be very good, very popular, but it is £120 roughly here in the UK, and that's a bit much. However, this Carby from Insurrection Industries, it seems, have created their own HDMI adapter, which is pretty much half the price. Only cost me £65.99 here in the UK. So we're going to open it up now and have ourselves a look-see. Okay, so inside the box we got a nice quick start guide telling you what to do. Lovely jubblies. And in the box, up to the camera, we have the Carby itself. There's the HDMI port, and there's the connector. We'll get onto that in a moment. And the remote control. This allows you to access the settings on the Carby, which is actually, I believe, an improvement over the Eon, which is more expensive and doesn't come with a remote. And apparently you have to buy your own and set it all up, and it's a pain in the arse. That's just what I've heard, of course, so yeah. Let's see, is there anything else in the box? Yes, there is. Ooh, a HDMI cable. How very nice of them to actually provide that. That is rather lovely. Too often you get devices that just don't come with the cable needed, so nice of them to throw that in as well. Of course, you will notice the Carby, there's nothing on the sides there. Nope, it does not need USB power, which is very nice. Wouldn't have made much of a difference. I do have USB ports on my power adapter and things like that for my plugs, so that's fine. So let's just move these out of the way and bring in the Gamecube. Hello. I've got a nice black one here, the Game Boy adapter. But what we want to do is look at the back. So I mentioned earlier we're going to talk about the connector, and here it is. Why? Because it does not fit in the analog AV out, which is the normal adapter port for the RCA cables. What it needs is this one over here, the digital AV out. Plugs in very nicely there. And I'm mentioning that because not all Gamecubes come with that port. The earlier models did, but some of the later revision models do not include it. So if you are looking at something like this, make sure you have the model with the two at the back. The Eon, I believe, uses both ports, where this one just uses one, which leaves the other port separately if you wanted to do audio as a separate output. So that's very useful for a lot of audio files out there. Me, doesn't really bother me. So we've got that hooked up there. We've got this HDMI cable. I've got a little remote control and a basic quick start guide, so the only thing left to do now is hook this up and see how it looks and compare it to Composite. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so we have some side-by-side footage here. On the left is obviously Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart Double Dash on the Gamecube obviously. On the left is with the RCA composite cables going through my HDMI converter upscaler thingy that just allows me to connect it, you know, to HDMI despite using RCA cables. And on the right is with the Carby HDMI plug and play adapter, and immediately you can see a massive difference. Everything with the Carby version just looks so much sharper, the colour is so much better. Oh, we've moved on to Wave Race Blue Storm here. You can see the water just looks so much nicer, the character looks better. It looks a bit too sort of bulky and doesn't have much definition in the graphics and that. On the left, on the right, you can see his hair better, his outfit looks a lot nicer. Yeah, just look there, the little bridge bit, the ramp there, the wood effect looks so much better on the right hand side with the Carby. Yeah, it's a shame that the game kind of sucks on the Gamecube, but it visually looks very impressive. And speaking of impressive, this game, Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, I think, or Rogue Squadron Rogue Leader 2, one of those names. I remember this being incredibly impressive when it first came out. And look here on the left, Composite looked kind of crappy. On the right, look how much nicer that looks with the Carby HDMI plug and play adapter. That is quite amazing. Yeah, this looks so much better. Vast improvement. I think probably one of the better games to really tell the difference in sheer quality between the two. Yeah, that's just so much better to play. Okay, WWE Day of Reckoning 2. Now there are 3 versions here. The left is of course the Composite. The right is through the Carby. And the middle one I tested out here, adding the RGB range, turning that to on. I think that's to do with the different colours that the RGB signal could produce. Honestly, looking at the entrances here, obviously the one on the left looks like crap. The two after it, the middle and the right, looks so much nicer. But the timing, as you can see, is a little off with all 3 versions. Very, very strange. Not sure what's going on there. But yeah, is there much of a difference between the two with the RGB on and off the range? I can't really tell any difference personally. But obviously they still both look incredible compared to the crappy Composite version. Colours just look so much more defined. The graphics are so much sharper. And here, of course, Super Mario Sunshine, the game that I really got this for because I love this game so much. I'm a huge fan of water and beach looks in video games, and Mario Sunshine is full of that. As you can see, I accidentally stopped playing there for a second. Yeah, everything just looks so much nicer. Look at the water here. The colour looks so much nicer. It looks more see-through and transparent. You can see the water effects of the sun rippling off it. You can see the floor texture for this little pool here. On the left, you can barely tell there's anything there. On the right here, you can see that there's that texture that pools tend to have. At the bottom, you can see that rippling through. Everything just looks so much nicer and sharper and brighter. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing through Mario Sunshine again, but through the HDMI cable, because this is just tremendous. It really is. It's a massive difference while playing as well compared to just looking side by side. So the Game Boy adapter, tested out here, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and just look how much nicer that is with the Carby. That is incredible. Really is, and it also seemed to play faster as well through the Carby. I genuinely don't know why that is. Both are playing at 60 Hz because that option is available. Yeah, so I don't know why or how it would play faster, but it does. There's actually less slowdown. And then Pokemon Crystal here on the Game Boy Color. Again, just look at the difference in quality. How much nicer does that look? Look at the sprites here for the Pokemon and the player. everything's just sharper and more defined. It's a lot darker with Pokemon, you can definitely tell here, but it does look a lot nicer. Yeah, the text so much clearer, so much nicer. Excellent way to play this game. And lastly, on the Game Boy Advance, we got Super Mario Bros. So, wow. Mario on the left through the composite just looks like a red blob when he's small. On the right, so much clearer again, definitely darker, but everything just looks sharper and nicer. Yeah, look at the firepower. Yeah, look at that, so much nicer. God. Really, the huge difference, I think more so with the Game Boy player than with just the regular Gamecube games. So those are some comparisons with the Carby and just basic standard composite cable going through a HDMI adapter. So $65.99. I'll put a link below to the website that I got it from. It's the gamesconnection.co.uk. Free delivery, came within a couple of days, very happy with that. 12-month warranty, that's great as well. Is it worth that price? If you're just looking to hook up your Gamecube and play your games on modern TV and are not too bothered about anything else, you can probably pick up on the pound cable at £30. Again on gamesconnection.co.uk, or Hyperkin released a 3-in-1 cable that does Super Nintendo, N64 and Gamecube, all in one for about the same price, I think £30 as well. There is a difference in quality obviously between those cables and even the Carby and of course the Eon. So if you're just interested in hooking up to modern TV and playing, those £30 options are fine. If you're like me, you want to record game footage for doing YouTube and things like that, or you just want it to look as good as possible, for $65.99 you cannot go wrong with the Carby at all. It is way better value than the Eon that doesn't even come with a controller. To access the menu settings you have to do that all yourself. It's basically half the price, so yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. Just remember that one thing, you do need the digital AV output connector on the back, so check your GameCube console before you purchase one. So I'm Big Cal, thanks for watching and I'll see you again next time.